works. It still works.
Red button works. Check 1, 2.
We love
Thin
that.
Beast episode 2. 5 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. This is quite a bit nicer. We got lights here and video camera and all everything.
Yeah.
We were just testing things out back in the day at the dining room table.
Yeah, I think maybe the Vikings were playing in the background.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was the Vikings.
We were just talking about it was a Monday Night Football because you had that
That's a big
TV that you could move out.
Oh, yeah,
and so we were
it.
just kind of like watching it while we were talking.
Probably not a great idea to be watching a football game while we're like having a conversation.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that episode. This one might be better.
We were new.
The wine might make it a little better. Yeah, the audio was probably terrible.
Yeah, me and Troy were talking before you came that our first couple episodes we had some big announcements because like 2 episodes before you was April, and that's when she let it slip that she was playing with Alex Kleinman.
Oh,
and her agent like the next week was like, April, like we can make bigger announcements than this ragtag podcast. And then you came on and you're like, I think me and Nick are gonna go for Tokyo. We were like, wow.
I said that there. Huh?
I was like, damn it.
Boy, if I would have known the road that we were about to embark on was that long, I would probably have been like, you know what? I'm not going to go for Tokyo. Because it was a long one. And then you get there, and I'm in quarantine for like 4 or 5 days. I don't remember how long. But I didn't get to... So we got there Saturday.
You weren't there when I got there, right? Well, you weren't in the village, or did you leave after I got there? I forget.
I got there 2 weeks after we got there. Like, we arrived.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we arrived on a Saturday, right? And we spent all day in the airport.
Right.
We got in at like 3 p.m., somewhere like that. Uh-huh. And then I didn't get to my room till 4 a.m.
Oh, God.
And, and then they let us know that, okay, breakfast is from 8 to 9. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, so I'm going to get, like, no sleep.
Or don't eat.
Yeah. And every morning, 8 o'clock, they called, let me know it was breakfast. But they wouldn't let me out of the place until USOC busted me out of there and put me into, like, their hotel, which ended up being the Hilton, which was sweet.
Is that where Sean and everyone was staying?
Sean,
Sean Scott and the whole...
No.
That's where I stayed.
Oh, really?
When I first got there, I was there for 2 days, waiting for, like, the official pull-out of Taylor.
Yeah. So Tuesday, they busted me out, and I still hadn't, like, left the room. I was there, for a few days. Couldn't get a lift in. They gave me a box of water, so I was using that for some kind of load to get, like, a little lift in. But the room was, I mean, I could almost touch both walls with my arms, and it was like...
Oh, my God.
And they, like, they had a sports psychologist talk to me every day to see if I was doing okay. I'm like, listen, like, I'm the perfect person to deal with this. This is, like, whatever, my 4th Olympics. I'm pretty mentally stable. I like to think of myself pretty mentally stable. So I'm good. You don't have to waste your time with me, It's like, I got to check in. I was like, all right. Yeah. But then, so Tuesday they bust me out, and I get the lift at, what was that place called that they had the gym? Whatever, USOC rented out like a school. They had a gym there, so I got a lift in once.
The High Performance Center. Or whatever,
yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I got a lift in once everyone was gone, and then still no word on practices. Wednesday comes along. Sean Scott, head of USAV Beach, is like trying to get me out there, and they finally say, okay, I can practice at 10 p.m. that night, Wednesday night, by myself. And
I'm down to get out. It's not going to be that helpful. But
Sean was, he's like, he can't do anything by himself, really, other than jump serve, really.
Right.
And so they let my coach out, Jason, who was actually in the same boat as I was. But for those who don't know, like, because I sat in front of Taylor on our flight from LA to San Francisco, I was considered close contact.
It was just the little hour-long flight.
And we're both in obviously in masks because we were on plane, and
and then you're like getting tested every second, every morning.
26 tests in 15 days. 100%.
Was this like the nose? The nose, or was it like a swab?
Most of them were the nose.
Man.
And one time I I had to go to the village to get the test, and one time I recorded, and the dude everywhere's like no camera, no phones, whatever. And the dude saw me, and boy, he made me pay. He stuck that thing up, dude. And it was already like a little sore from the
other 20.
Yeah, so I would have to tell him this one was feeling pretty good. Yeah, it sucked. But
dude,
I the whole Olympics was kind of a little lame, right?
Yeah, even for my first Olympics, because I had been to. It sounds weird, but I'd been to World University Games twice and Pan American Games, and World University Games in China was insane. Mm-hmm. It was the same scale as Tokyo, but there was people there. Dang. So I was like, wow, Wugs was way nutser than this. And it was mellow. Yeah, it was pretty lame.
Yeah, it's really a shame. They built this big, beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
And the energy would have been awesome in there, right?
It was the perfect.
And then it's just stadium. Crickets in there, 50 people in there.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, what a crazy experience. I mean, for me, it was great because I literally had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Everything was just positive for me.
Sure. Yeah.
But for you, it was it's a good thing it was your fourth, but I guess everyone there kind of had been there before except for Taylor and had some experience. But going in where you're okay, I'm trying to peak mentally, physically, and then it's okay, and now you're stuck in a room.
Yeah.
And you can't lift, you can't play, you can't fine tune any of your things that you've been training for years now.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
It was a shame. I was playing some pretty good ball leading up to Tokyo, and I felt all my momentum going into it was lost.
How could you possibly have momentum with that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sitting in a room for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And we weren't allowed to train against the team. It was really man, I felt like I was a leper. I had my own car that was completely plastic. There was a whole thing of plastic separating me from the driver. And they dropped me off, and they always knew I was coming, and the guy was there to meet me. And then we'd walk through security and whatever, and he would shoo everyone away. Dude, it was crazy. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, everyone
just to point it out,
got out of the way.
Right.
And, he must have been saying keep your distance or something.
Right.
And it was really kind of strange. We couldn't use the shower. I couldn't use the showers there, or if I used the bathroom there, they had to sanitize it right when I was done. It's crazy.
Didn't you get? I remember seeing a picture or video or something where Nick was getting showered, but Jason was squirting you with the hose.
Oh, we had a big fire hose for the course.
Use the shower,
also, I checked the water source of that later. I went and looked at the giant reservoir thing. I was there's definitely some larva in there or something.
Yeah. It was warm. It was warm. Warm water. Yeah.
Oh, what an experience. I mean, someone maybe younger, or maybe if it was your first Olympics, could have really gotten mind fucked by all that, in a bad way.
Yeah, the Czech guys.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel terrible for them.
Yeah, and they were playing good ball too.
Uh-huh.
And they tried to make it out of the pool. They kind of had an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And who did they play? Russia and Mexico? Or was it just Mexico? Because they had to forfeit to Tox and
that's right.
Plavins, I think. And then did they play 2 or just 1?
I think they played 2.
Okay.
And I think they won in a tight 3-setter and then lost in a tight 3-setter.
Okay.
And they needed to win both in 2, I think. Or I don't remember. I had plenty of time on my hands, so
I
was doing all the math. I watched a lot of volleyball, and which was kind of cool.
Yeah, I was about to say, what did you do? Because when we had Taylor Crabb on, man, he was talking about, because his isolation was a whole different battle.
He said his window was like he couldn't open. He couldn't open. Did you have a window?
No.
Oh yeah.
You didn't have a window?
I mean, I had a window,
Okay.
but it looked right into a gray wall. Like that was like 10 feet away.
Okay.
So like I didn't get much like natural sunlight, which was kind of tough. Yeah. I actually to get used to the humidity there, whenever I'd sneak out of the room and there was like a stairwell outside, and I'd kind of keep an eye on it to see when the sun was shining on the stair, and then I'd pop out and like do like a 15-minute workout.
Right.
Hopefully not get caught. You know? Like if I would have got caught, I don't know. Like would they kick me out of the Olympics? I don't know. You know.
I might be in a Tokyo prison
Can
today.
You imagine?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was insane. There definitely needs to be like a documentary that comes out or something about like what actually happened to the athletes in the Olympics. There's probably so many stories just within our sport. There's a bunch of like nut stories.
Yeah, the Czech girls they got.
Oh, Czech girls too.
Yeah, they
were
didn't even
gone.
play, right?
Yeah, and Marketa Slukova, she just retired. She didn't play again. And so Barr's still playing, but they had to forfeit. And I think their coaching staff got it. I think
Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, that was brutal. Because all the Czech teams were playing great.
Yeah.
And then, just shitty.
Yeah.
So it goes sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know if it's better for that to be like your last Olympics or your first. Because now, I mean, you can only go up from here. You and Taylor Crabb, you're not going to get a worse Olympic experience than what you guys got.
I mean, I had a great experience. I was going to be sitting at home or I could just watch what's going on over there.
Yeah.
You kind of played like you were playing with like the house's money. Like like there was no pressure. Like
not really. I mean, pretty much. Yeah. I just was like, Jake, this is my set. Like this is the set I want. That was the priority. And then I told him, let me make a few bonehead errors because I just need to do that every once in a while, and I need to know that it's okay because I need to play free and like loose. And then everything from there, I was like, see what happens.
I think you had the highest hitting percentage in the tournament, right?
Yeah. So he got my set down.
Yeah. I mean, that's not surprising.
We weren't. He's legit setter. We just didn't get stops defensively, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Get some wins. My first match against Adrian, and I was like full-time defense for the first time. I was like, it's not the best guy to be. He might just don't let him cross me up.
Yeah.
You know, with his trickery, and pass the sky ball. Pass the first sky ball well, and don't let him break my ankles.
Did you hear what happened with Adrian and Enrico? Right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Like the Italian Federation.
Oh, yeah, I did hear.
Did not give him any funding, so they couldn't bring a coach. Nothing. They gave all the funding to Nikolai Lupo. Mm-hmm. So Nikolai Lupo was rolling around like 4 deep coaches, right? And then poor Adrian. And
that's been the story of his whole career, kind of.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was telling me about that. Like, he was totally like mindfucked going into it because it was like Italy, like it felt like they were like disowning him, like you're not playing for us. He's like, well, I'm like representing us in the Olympics. I qualified and like I'm wearing this flag in the Olympics, like. So he was like not in a good mental space playing.
And that was, I mean, when he first started, because we had him on the podcast and he was telling us about when he first started with Italy. And he said you actually played a pretty big part in him, I think, getting a tryout, or something. And they said, if you don't either win or medal in this event, and that might have been the one that him and Rangieri got bronze, and they beat Nummerdor and Varenhorst. Mm. And they were like, if you don't medal, we're going with Caminati. And they came out of the qualifier and medaled, and they were like,
oh, that was Porec, I think?
Maybe. And so, like, Adrian's just, like, balled out. I feel like the Italian Federation is like, this guy just keeps winning. We want someone else who's so good.
Yeah.
He has the craziest story of anyone, I think. Like, if you want to make a documentary about any athlete, go listen to that guy's story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. I mean, all odds stacked against him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He's in a sport where now it's gotten, like, giant.
Right.
You know? and he's what, 5'9", 5'10". Not the biggest jumper, like,
right.
it's just his hand contact and his crazy wrists, like, really.
Yeah.
And ball control, obviously.
Crazy confidence.
Yeah.
Have you been keeping up with the World Tour?
Yeah, I like to, I subscribe to the app, so I watch. I just have it on in the background, whatever. Like any match that piques my interest, I'll, pop on.
Yeah. Have you watched the Swedish kids play?
Yeah, and I have a thought of that because the tour has gotten so big, right? Like when I first started playing FIVBs, I was like the tallest, or one, top 3 maybe.
Right.
And now, like last year, I was probably like not even the top 10. Mm-hmm. So that's over like 15 years or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But what's gonna, like, the style that's gonna neutralize the big blocker, the big block is
The jump
that
set.
crazy offense. Right? And I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because Miles Partain already is enough for me. Like, I hate that. I just want to deal with my one guy I got to deal with. And then,
Right.
But then having like, oh, is he going? I don't know.
Being late, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like for Miles and Paul, they run that kind of flat set out to the pin, right? So like in that situation, you kind of want to be already out on the pin, waiting for it, not working your way out, like flying out there,
Right,
and then,
reaching, or
and you're just in a bad spot, and it's a pain.
I feel like you've made your whole career out of like lining up in the right spot and just pressing like crazy,
just getting up big and
I'm making move up top.
But now the guys are way bigger. You got to like make some moves. And
It's kind of reminds me of indoor middle blocking because you're late on everything as a middle blocker. They're just, especially nowadays, like they're just like shooting. Every set's a shoot set, and there's 3 of them, so you're like late on everything. That's basically what it feels like, where you have to like be really comfortable being halfway there. I don't know. I'm coming around with it too, thinking it's probably going to be a big part of the game going forward.
Yeah,
it's definitely inefficient. Because how many sets that you could have just stood there and got a kill, and now you're jumping as a setter.
Right.
So I don't know if the longevity is there, or if you're going to see like the older players doing it, the guys in like 35 plus doing it. But because right now it's just the young guys, really. Yeah. They're doing it a lot.
Right.
Like there's been people are jump setting for years, but that was just like here and there, like
kind of messing around type.
Or like where you just like jumped and the blocker came really early and threw one out there. Like I'd probably done like 5 or 6 before, like on the FIVB. Yeah. And now it's like,
well, Trevor, he's anti-jump set, isn't he?
Well, that was the problem. Yeah, I jump set Trevor once, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing, bro? Just hit it. What the hell?" I was like, "All right, I guess I can't do that anymore." I'm like, "Well, there's no block, but whatever." Yeah. I agree, though. I think it's definitely where the game's going.
Like, I don't think it like the way I see it is like you have your volleyball. This is a little cheesy, but you have your volleyball skills tool belt, right? And
I can tell you've been doing clinics with this.
Yeah, exactly. And every once in a while you got to pull the jump set out.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just another kind of thing you could pull out, like a tool or whatever. Especially if you got a big blocker like an Andy Mole,
right?
And just keep him guessing just a little bit. Don't let him like get in his spot and let him get down low and make his big move. Mm-hmm. But it neutralizes an Andy Mole,
right?
And I think I have a theory. If those Swedish kids can get a little more consistent, that they're going to have some battles, Norway and Sweden. And who would ever have thought that Norway and Sweden would be like the 2 teams, like,
Those are my genes.
Yeah.
Swedish and Norwegian. So I got to throw some jump setting in there for sure.
You have to. Yeah, it is. It's funny, though. Did you watch their semifinal of European Champs?
I didn't, no.
It's a good one. If you still have a Volleymetrics account, you you'd enjoy that one because I think that's a look into the future of what we're going to see between those two.
Yeah.
Because, man, that defender, I mean,
He's really good.
He's something else.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
What neutralized the jump setting, though, in the Maldives was it got pretty windy. And the blocker, his passing wasn't all that great, especially when they played Sharif and Ahmed. His passing was there, and they won like 21-12. The wind kicked up, started passing off the court, and when he's just running straight into Sharif, it was a problem. And so there's no jump setting, no options. And when you're just playing one guy, and there's also like heat index was like 105.
Yeah.
And the blocker was just melting down.
Oh, really?
It's like, all right, I think we kind of found a very small snippet of an Achilles heel for this team is serve tough and wind.
They were in Cancun last year for those 3 tournaments, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't know really how to, like, they kept trying to, like, in Cancun it was super windy, right?
Yeah, it was gnarly.
And I just remember watching the blocker try to push that pass, over in front of the right side, and it just kept going, And I'm like, dude, I would just be like, you can't run this kind of offense, you just have to go low pass, low set, and kind of just.
Yeah, that wind was almost a joke. Like some of the worst wind I've ever played in.
Yeah, especially if you're on the super far court.
Yeah.
Like where you're exposed
by the
to
warm-up
everything.
court?
Yeah.
The warm-up court was the worst.
Yeah.
Like, you literally couldn't... Like, you could set it 2 feet over the net, and it'll come back and be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, it was that bad.
Yeah. And it was, like, consistent every day.
For 3 weeks straight.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So Adrian was just having a field day.
Yeah. Oh. It's funny. You think about the two teams. You get Adrian and Rico, wind ball. Sweden does not want the win. But I think if you look at sort of...
You'd think they would be good win ball players because it is... They play a high ball control game. Like, to be able to shoot set, or like not shoot set, but like option every ball and then pass it like strategically further over one way to get the blocker to go and then run the other. Like, you'd think they'd have it, but maybe not much wind in Sweden.
But you look at where the biggest tournaments are played in the Olympics. You're going to play in a humongous stadium. There's not going to be any wind.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
World Champs, it's going to be a big stadium.
They're
with
dangerous
no wind.
and at this point it's like on any given day they could get hot and win a tournament.
Yeah.
Like they're at that point.
Yeah. And they're like 20 or something like that.
Yeah. 20 and the defender's 20, blocker's 21.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I mean, when I was 20, 21, I could barely make it to class, much less like travel the world and like win European champ. Or same with Mole and Storm. They were winning, like they're dominating the world at that age, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And Anders, I mean, he's still what, like 25?
Yeah,
24.
25. Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, really? Jesus.
He's got a long career ahead of him.
Yeah. If he could stay healthy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because he's already been a little banged up.
Yeah.
His he has such like crazy flexibility and range for like how tall is he? 6'8"? Probably 6'7".
I think he's
6'8"?
like 6'7" or so.
Yeah, but he's like pretty thick guy. Like, he's not
strong.
Skinny.
I saw him in the gym once. What was that? I think it was in Rome or Hamburg. I think it was Hamburg and World Champs.
Yeah,
and he had 100 kilos on 220, right? And he just sat in his squat, like pretty deep, 220 kilo. I mean, 220
just holding
pounds.
it at the bottom.
Just and I was like, well, that explains a lot. That explains a lot.
He gets his butt all the way to the sand when he blocks.
Yeah. And if you look at him, he's got like kind of shorter legs, which enables him to get that low, and then a really long torso, long arms, and so he could and he's like super flexible. Like he's almost like an L shape in the air, It's crazy.
He makes crazy moves up top above the net, which makes me think the amount of like footwork that isn't needed for someone who can do that. I remember the first time I played him, I hit like this. I knew he was big. Oh no, second time I played him. I knew he's big, so it was like playing against you, where I'm like, okay, you got to play a little different. Like he can cut off different angles, and I went like out of the middle, super sharp, like cuff back down to the line, but like I'm going far, and he's in front of me, and he freaking did that L move all the way back and blocked it. I was like, bro, I hit that like where I wanted to, so I knew that you wouldn't be able to block it.
Yeah.
And you freaking reached all the way back. Like, all right, this guy's different. He's Phil that makes giant moves up top. God damn it.
It's with completely different style blocking.
Yeah. Right.
It was fun talking to Theo about Prime Phil and Prime Anders. Who wins that debate?
I think I listened to the episode because a couple people told me to listen. And it's almost turned into like, you ever watch that the documentary on Bo Jackson?
Yeah.
Where like, when Bo was 17, he jumped over the Mississippi River. You know? Like it's kind of like turned into like, like that was the first thing I thought. Like,
how great is that?
Yeah, it was a little
the legend of the thin beast.
Yeah, it was a little exaggerated. Yeah. But it was nice words, so I appreciate that. But I had it going pretty good there, especially in 2010. We played 12 FIVB tournaments, and we won 9, got a second, third, and fourth. So that was
holy God.
By far our best season. But like the Norwegians are doing the same thing every year. Yeah,
basically. I mean the competition's much better now.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But like that, what you just said is unmatched. I don't think Norway's even done that, right?
I think they've won 7 in 1 year.
2018, when they won Stade, Vienna, Hamburg back to back, that kicked off a streak where they won 8 of the next 12, so that was like that was 11 of 15 big ones.
That's insane.
And then they won Olympics, and then they won 4 straight European champs, which is insane.
Yeah, no, it's.
And then they just tacked on their first world championship.
You also
so
look
hit
at
the Grand Slam.
Look at like basketball when you look back at the Wilt Chamberlains and the Bill Russells and stuff. Resume wise, they're amazing, but the game's just updating and they're getting more athletic and all that.
And that 2010 was the first year with that new Mikasa, and everyone served Todd, who was like crazy good passer, and he picked up on that Mikasa no problem.
Yeah,
right, where everyone was still kind of dealing with it.
Yeah,
and I think like passing's probably my weakest part of my game. So maybe if people were to serve me a little bit,
they were too scared.
Well, yeah. I like last year when people were going after Anders a little bit, that since he has to deal with, I have this theory that if you're usually a team is one guy's a point scorer, one guy's a side out guy, right? And so once you serve the point scorer, now that takes a little bit of focus off of the scoring points, blocking, serving, whatever. And so everyone served Todd, and so I was like, okay, and then I could go back and bomb jump serves and do my thing at the net. And then sometimes, like, the team that beat us the most, but we also played them about 100 times with Jake and Rosie. Yeah. And every once in a while, they would catch me on a bad day or something, and they always tried me every match, to see where I was at. And then, if they're scoring points, they just keep it on me.
It's also just like a rhythm thing. I've totally felt the same way. Like, I feel very comfortable. Oh, they're going at Trevor. They think he shoots a lot. Okay, perfect. Set. I can cover a lot. I, like, know what my role is, when they're going at him. And then when they switch, sometimes I get caught off guard because I'm like, oh, crap. Like, all right. Now I need him to be, and even for him, like, he needs to be the covering and, like, doing all the small things, really paying attention to setting, giving good calls, bring a little more serving. And it's just, like, that awareness for you both to be like, and I think I started saying it, I was like, hey, now you got to be that guy. Like, we both have to have that awareness to, like, switch. Right. But you don't. So it, like, totally takes, and, like, for an Anders is, like, he might think, okay, now I still have to score, I still have to serve, and I have to side out. So now I literally have to do everything. Yeah. And it kind of can overwhelm him. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
Christian, like, I would like to see his stats on, out of 1,000 swings, how many errors is he making? Right. Because it's so, like, rarely do you see that guy make an error. Yeah, you'll score a point on him every once in a while, sure. But Anders will give up points, freebies.
Right.
But then there'll be games where he's just untouchable.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just chalk it up to like, all right, he's pretty good in this game.
Yeah.
And if you're trying him, I mean, because I've watched as much Norwegian film as I can. If you're trying him, at what point are you like, all right, maybe
Yeah, let's throw a couple over to Christian.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll come back a little later. Just, like sneak one down his line or something.
Yeah, because I feel like Cancun was the perfect storm. That was like, I feel like every single team just got together and was like, we're all serving Anders now. Like just Cancun, it's like everyone turned it on, which is I feel like was the perfect storm because it was super hot.
Yeah.
It was super windy. I mean, Anders hadn't been served in 3 years.
Right. And he was coming off I think he had a stress fracture in his femur or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. That's not what you want.
And then, Christian, I think if there is a weakness in his game, it's probably his setting, if there is one. And so you have like this perfect storm of elements, and then everyone just stuck on Anders and stayed with it because they would get a couple early.
Right.
And then by the time the Olympics rolled around, it's like, all right, this stopped working.
He got into the rhythm. Right.
But they still won in Cancun. How many? They won.
Yeah, they won both.
They won both,
Right.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how we just talked about it, and they found the piece.
Yeah.
They served Anders.
Yeah.
And they still won the tournament.
They
but
struggled in
Sochi, I think they got 17th.
Sochi was their worst one, I think.
And Ostrava?
But you never know when he's hurt, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Strava, they weren't in the semis, I don't think.
Yeah, which is such a disappointment for them. Fifth.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, but we were, before we came on, we were talking about your Sochi travels with Nick.
Oh, yeah.
We wanted to revisit that.
So we went to Sochi last year, and you had to get a COVID test, right? And it had to be 3 days before. I can't remember. 3 days before you got there, or I don't remember. But Germany changed their rules. We were connecting through Germany, and they changed the rules, and it had to be 48 hours before, even if you're just connecting.
Right.
So, like, we run to they had a COVID testing place in the airport, of course. And we take our test, and it's taking forever, of course, right? There's, like, a line.
Right.
And Nick is just freaking out. And I'm just sitting there, like, whatever, messing around on my phone or whatever. And Nick is like, dude, are you not worried? Like, whoa, dude. Like he was just like, I'm like, dude, like, I'll get worried once we miss our flight.
Right.
Then we got to figure out how we're going to get to Sochi, But for now, I'm pretty positive that we're going to get our test results just in time. And that's exactly what we got it. We ran back to the counter. She didn't even check our test.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
And we got our ticket and whatever, we made it. But
and that's why.
Just a little.
Wait, why were you on the same flight with him? Because you guys are different airlines
because
usually, right?
To get to Sochi was on American. He had to. It was like going to take him like 36 hours.
Oh, so that one
because
trip.
like it was still COVID travel and
Yeah.
So he was on United. And
but it's good to have a different airline with your partner. Sometimes you spend so much time.
Yes,
with them.
because you like legit. Otherwise, the whole summer would be with this one person.
Yeah,
for the most part.
That's
right?
how it was with me and Hayden. He's a Delta guy.
Yeah.
So I just traveled with Evie. But I was like, this is probably for the best.
Yeah.
Like he probably needs time away from me, and I need time away from him. Yeah. And I was like, 24, 25 at the time. And he was 44.
Yeah.
Uncle John.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
He's still going.
Yeah.
That's wild. Dude, how about you? I feel like from my perspective, after 2016, you seemed like you were maybe going to call it there in a big way. Like you really were pondering.
Yeah.
Was that the time?
Around 2016? There, yeah.
The fact that you're sitting here now like blows my mind.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I don't remember. It's like so long ago. Right?
Yeah,
like,
really.
It seems like yesterday, but I don't know. I think it was like the only way I know how to make money is play ball, right? So I was like, well, what can I do? Well, the only thing I know is beach volleyball. I have a degree in business administration, which is like worthless,
Right.
basically, right? So I was like, I guess I'll play. And Nick and I had a great season that year.
Yeah.
We, I think we won the most tournaments in the world that year. We won World Tour champs, which was like a nice paycheck.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, that was that year. That wasn't that $100,000.
100, yeah. Yeah, but now I think it's 150.
Yeah. In Doha in a couple months.
Damn it.
What's second? Do you know what second is?
Maybe 75.
Oh, so
it's big.
Oh my
That's cool.
God.
Yeah.
It's so funny that the prize money is so bad, and then the one event they just put all of it into.
Yeah, they could have done a good job, a better job of building that up, because that would have been a cool thing to follow. Like, who are these 8 teams going to be? Because that's a big freaking carrot to dangle at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's something that could be cleaned up for next year. I'd follow that. Like, this is the race to $150,000.
Right.
Well, I think our whole
place.
sport should be like, that's just what sports are. Like, NBA is like they're trying to
championship,
figure out who's going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
NFL, everything. Our sport never has, like, we're never like building for something. Even Olympics, I feel like fans have to like go out and figure it out. Like, they were all really stoked when the McKibbins broke down the Olympic race for everybody last year. Like, why is this the first time someone's breaking it down for the fans in a simple way?
Right.
Right? It's never really been like a huge, everyone's following the race. It's like the players are following it, and that's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
So weird.
The AVP did a good job with Phoenix, I thought, this year.
Yeah, well, they did a few Instagrams.
Yeah, I mean, better than...
Assuming you're on Instagram.
It's an improvement. But yeah, I think with the Olympic race coming up, I've been talking to Lee Feinswag at Volleyball Mag, like, how can we make this we just want like a regular thing on the website, just tracking, have like one sidebar for the whole world rankings and one sidebar just tracking specifically the American teams and where everyone's at. Because that's what the fans are following anyways, the Olympic race. And I think for the World Tour Finals, that would be a good thing just to have like a regular update. Like, this is where everyone's at. This team is about to pass this team. Especially because, Anders and Christian, they'd only played like 4 events this year. They were sort of on the outside looking in for a minute.
Dang.
And that's a race to follow.
100%. There's so many good storylines there. They are doing a little bit better of a job, or they say that they're going to invest more in that kind of stuff. I keep hearing it, but it's not really happening.
Yeah. Volleyball World, they had a lot going on this year. It was their first year.
Yeah, exactly.
Running stuff.
Right.
New app, new streaming, like new everything.
Yeah.
I think that the app is a no-brainer, though. Like,
100%, yeah. And it did make it easier to follow.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was following it through the app for the most part. Apparently making an app's a lot harder than we all make it sound, though.
Yeah.
I was like, well, make an app for that.
And streaming live matches
that's
probably makes it a little more difficult, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, through the app, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
But, you started your own business venture, the Phil Dalhausser Academy.
Oh, yeah, we got a little club in Orlando.
Yeah.
We only have 2 courts, but we're getting 2 more, so we'll have 4.
Sweet.
But I thought, I was like, we don't have to advertise or anything. Like, people are just going to come,
Yeah.
And turns out Orlando is kind of dominated by indoor. And we're having to kind of build our own little beach volleyball community, and having to go out to clubs and middle schools and whatever.
Does not sound like the stuff that you wanted to do.
I do not want to do that. I actually enjoy being out in the sand with the kids and talking a little trash. And, that's kind of fun. And actually my son's coming out now. He's like the laziest athlete. Like, he's a pretty good athlete. Like, he's lefty. He catch and throw pretty good. Like, he would be in soccer, and the kid would dribble by him. He'd just kind of nonchalantly put a stick of foot out. Baseball, he was always the last kid in the dugout from the field, last kid in his spot
to get in out to the field.
And I'm like, hey man, you gotta like hustle to your spot and hustle off the field. He's like, yeah. And then me, I'm like pretty relaxed about it, but my wife is not. Hustle! Hustle! And like, I mean, she's loud. There's no way he does not hear that. But then, like, whatever, like, I don't know, a month and a half ago or so, like, all right, dude, you gotta pick a sport. What you want to do? And he's like, I want to come play beach volleyball. And now this fool is like running around the place, diving. He's like drenched in sweat. I'm like, what? Who is this kid? Like, this is not
nice.
Yeah. So he's like totally into it.
Yeah.
And like if he gets, we'll play like King of the Court or whatever. And like every once in a while he'll get like second or whatever, third. And he's
got to be pretty. Sorry, go ahead.
And he's like, he goes home and tells Jen, my wife, I got second in King of the Court today. Like, he's totally into it.
No way.
Which I didn't really want them to be in the volleyball. But, I mean, if he's into it, then I'm cool with that.
It's like the opposite of what the parents want. That's usually what the kid does, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's like Gabby, she's pretty, like, anti-pink and all, like, the stereotypical girly stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you look at all the baby photos, blue, green, black, white, gray, whatever. And now she will only wear dress. I haven't seen my daughter wear normal clothes once, actually. And I think she just like forgot what she was doing. In like 2 or 3 months, she sleeps in her dresses. They're all pink. Shoes are glittered. And neither of us push that at all. It's just like, all right, we got what we deserve.
Yeah.
Sebastian's got to be pretty tall too, right?
He's definitely taller, but not like crazy off the charts. Ours, Sophia, who's 8, is like super tall and she hasn't found the coordination
Not
yet.
the athlete.
She's like her body type is exactly like mine. All limbs, not so much torso, and it's just like skinny, like little twig legs, So,
She's into the arts.
yeah, actually, yeah, and she likes swimming. Whatever.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
How old is Sebastian now?
He's 9.
Okay, so if I'm going to partner with him,
You gotta hang around for a
Hayden
while.
was 17 years older than me, so it gets me thinking,
17 years. Well,
You're what, 33?
Yeah,
So I mean, it's about the same, right?
exactly. That's why I'm thinking. If this kid's into it,
Yeah.
and he's got Jen and
He's got the
Phil's
Dalhausser jeans.
and he's at the Dalhausser Academy.
Got a built-in coach.
yeah.
He's got a coach.
He doesn't listen to me, but
Yeah.
he listens to our assistant coach, but not me.
Who is your
course.
assistant down there?
He's actually a pretty good player. His name is Skylar Lillithorpe.
Oh, he's great.
And he's been winning a lot of those AVP grass
Yeah.
tournaments.
Oh, nice.
He was a setter at
Northridge?
Yes, Northridge. And the 3-on-3 grass games is just he's lefty, he's probably like 6'4", and him sitting on the grass is just like
Got a good arm, too.
Yeah, he hits it pretty good. And he's a pretty good coach too. So,
Grass is gnarly. Grass
Yeah.
gets really intense.
Yeah.
Because it's like indoor, but you have less players, so it's like not as much of just like set a high ball and hit the crap out of it. Like you're really trying to beat the block, and like guys are late, and it's dangerous too. A lot of people get hurt on the grass because you slip a lot, right?
Yeah.
I think the 3-on-3 short court grass game could be fun, and it kind of like marries the two sports, beach and indoor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it could grow, right? Like you get to pull out some guys from indoor, and then if there's enough money, some beach players would jump into.
Yeah.
So I thought it was good what AVP did with the AVP grass,
Right.
but I don't know if they're going to roll with it. I don't know.
It just seems so.
The problem is like each tournament has their own style. Like Pottstown is like 2-on-2, big court, and it's
Side
just
out.
like
Oh, Pottstown's 2-on-2?
2-on-2.
I haven't heard of that.
And you play
on the sand.
a lot
Yeah.
of matches.
It's like 100 teams in open.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Something like that.
Have you played?
Yeah, 2004 champ.
No way.
If you're wondering.
with
But
Nick?
I'm still a little sore, from the
No kidding.
like, dude. Yeah, I think we had a pool of 6 teams, 5 or 6 teams. I don't remember, but we played a ton of pool play matches, and then I think 32 teams make it out of pool because there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many teams, and then it's just regular whatever side out scoring, and it's just a grind.
Have you played Beach Fours?
No, that's not my game. I played a little bit of that Mexi ball,
Yeah.
which is not my game either.
You'd be a good fours setter.
Yeah.
Because then you have up at the net blocking, and you can set. The pins are easy.
Yeah.
You got to learn the middle.
The
middle of the one.
Yeah.
But you
That was my calling, setting in fours.
Yeah.
Dude, fours
I
is
had the best
fun
time
though.
at FUD, setting in fours. That's my favorite thing I do. In
And you're
beach
lefty,
volleyball.
you go over on two.
Yeah, it's perfect. I played Skylar at FUDs one year,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, all right, I'm going to watch what he does because he's really good at this.
Yeah. He's, that's his, I keep telling him, dude, that's your game right there. And he knows it. It's not like he needs to hear it from me, but,
Right.
he's like, I don't even play beach anymore. It's just grass.
Yeah.
And he's 25, I think, so his body can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went to Pottstown this year, right? You're
I did a little
some kind of
clinic there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, 18 years since I've been there last.
Jeez. I still haven't been to Pottstown. I mean, it's 2 hours from where I grew up, though, so I'm surprised I never even heard of it when I was.
It's it's
growing
huge.
up.
It's on 3 different fields now. Or three, it's not all in one area. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How many people there are.
It is a massive tournament. And prize money's good. It's $70,000
Yeah.
this year. Probably, I think, 8 to the winners.
Yeah.
And deservedly so. I mean, it was a grind.
Yeah.
I think Nolan Albrecht and Tomas Goldsmith won.
Yeah.
And it was so each pool play match is 2 side out scoring matches to 11, 2 sets, and then you get out, and I think 32 teams break, and then it's a side out to 15, all the way to the finals. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Did I know Micah Ma'a and
They only play threes.
those threes. Okay. They're playing threes. Okay.
Yes, they have literally. Have you watched Micah Ma and the Worsleys play?
Uh-huh.
Man,
I mean, just whatever clips on.
They've literally never lost
Oh really?
Right.
anything. I was talking to Zana about it, and she goes, "People lose. They never lose. They've never lost
just
anything
built
they've
for
played."
it.
Yeah,
Huh.
but you would think that they're not built for it because they're all small.
Yeah.
Micah's 6'2", 6'3", and the Gage is maybe 6 foot. Joe's maybe 6 foot tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think grass
indoor
is
setters.
big for goons, and it's just ball control.
Yeah.
Perfect volleyball.
And they all look like they have pretty good arms, so they just rip serves.
They all have good arms, and they all dig the hard driven really well, so
Yeah.
they can actually scoop a few balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost to them in Wapaka, only grass tournament I've ever played, and we lost. And it was one of those matches where I was like, I'd lose that 100 times out of 100. I'm okay with
You're just
losing to
not
that
gonna-
team.
Who was your other two?
It was me and Tim Brewster and Mike Bogue.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I played with A-Rob that year on the beach, and then A-Rob wasn't going to do grass.
No.
I know.
That is not his game.
And then grass is not my game either,
Yeah.
and so I think that's probably the last I'll do because I wasn't right for a month. I was so sore.
Yeah.
I tried to jump on the beach again. I was like, this is impossible.
Yeah. It's a completely different game, right?
Yeah. It was fun, though. I had a blast.
Yeah.
Hey Rob, that guy's classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of a kind.
I bet you, I remember a long time ago, when there's Dig Magazine. I don't know if is there still Dig?
I don't know. Yeah.
They did an article on Albert Hanneman he had the most partners in a main draw. And it was I don't remember the number, say 40 partners, right?
Yeah.
I bet you at this point A-Rob has doubled that number because he's been doing it a long time.
Yeah. Thinking A-Rob and another contender, maybe not for main draws, but total. Justin Phipps would be a high
Phipps.
seed for that competition
I
as
played
well.
a tournament,
Yeah.
2003, Hermosa Beach with him.
Oh really?
He said he's pay my flight. I was like, all right. And Derek Zimmerman actually paid for Nick's flight, so I didn't have a partner anyway. So we made it to the game to get in, and we played the worst team possible.
No.
It was for Justin. It was what's Jake?
Did you play John Bronstein?
Yes,
I love Bronny.
Yeah, and he also played with, I forgot his name now. I'm not gonna remember. Another similar player.
Okay.
And they just peeled on Justin and like dug him, and they kind of handled us. And they just shot around me, and
Yeah.
yeah. But I was pretty happy about making the game to get in.
Yeah.
2003 that was?
2003, yeah.
Crazy. And then 5 years later, you won the gold?
Yeah. Yeah.
How crazy was that? The full circle of, or like when was the year that it kind of all flipped for you? It happened really quick, right? Because you guys were kind of
03. Nick and I were. We played one qualifier. We played one qualifier in Fort Lauderdale, and then through we were playing all the East Coast tournaments, and there was a Toyota Pro Series, actually close to you. They were only running out of Virginia Beach and Ocean City.
Okay.
And whoever had the most points got a main draw bid. So that was our first main draw, was Belmar that year, and then we qualified in all the rest of the tournaments. And
how'd you do in Belmar?
We got 25th.
Okay.
25th. Then we qualified in Manhattan. That was 48 team draw back then. We got 20. We won, I think, a couple matches and still get you to 25th. And then in Chicago, we ended up getting a 13th. And then at the end of that year, they played a tournament for all the qualifiers. Whoever won got 4 main draw bids.
Oh, wow.
So we won that. We beat Anthony Medell and John Moran in the finals. If for any volley nerds that paid attention back then.
Not John Moran.
No. Yeah. I don't know if he was alive then.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So then 2004, we're still living in Myrtle Beach with Adam. And that year, to answer your question, in Hermosa, we were the 16 seed. We beat Karch and Lambeau.
That's a good win.
The 1 seed, whatever. And then we lost to, I don't know how much in detail you want with this, but I remember.
Man, I'll take it.
We beat Kevin Wong. We lost to Kevin Wong and Fenoy. We got put in the losers bracket. I don't remember who we played at 9th, but at 7th, we beat Stein and Dax, who in a couple months were going to Athens.
Yeah.
And then at 5th, we beat Jeff Nygaard and Dane Blanton, who a couple months ago were going to.
They were the other team.
So then we end up losing to Kevin and Fenoy again in the semis. So then I was like, oh well, we just beat the 2 teams that were going to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Maybe this must be pretty good at this.
Yeah. Then,
and Karch Cry.
And we beat Karch, who was the 1 seed, which is so crazy.
And the GOAT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lambeau was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, maybe this thing could kind of turn into something. Because at that point, it was just avoiding real life.
Right.
Like not getting a desk job, basically.
Yeah,
right?
Which we're all still doing.
Yeah. 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 And then whatever after that off season, we moved to Santa Barbara, where Todd and Sean Scott were training a lot.
You moved to Santa Barbara because you partner with Todd?
No.
Before that.
Nick was dating a girl who was living in Santa Barbara, and her parents owned a big house that had extra bedrooms. So I moved in there and was paying whatever $300 a month in rent. I still remember the number.
Right,
I don't know.
Yeah.
And so we were training against them and Dax and Jeff Nygaard. So
it's a good crew.
All of a sudden, our
Santa Barbara's great too.
Yeah, Sweet Town. Our level just shot up, just playing with those guys.
Yep.
And then that third tournament that year, we beat Stein and Jake Gibb in the finals of Austin.
Right.
For our first one.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
I love that video.
Oh, yeah.
You guys just losing it. It's so cool.
I mean, it was like a really kind of exciting match. Like, I think we won like 18-16 in third or 19-17, something like that.
And it looked like you guys were like legit shocked, like, holy crap, we're AVP champions.
Yeah.
Like,
but it was I'll never forget this. But you know how they say like your memory is like 50% of what actually happened, right? So it could be completely different. But I remember Nick coming up to me and being like, "Dude, can you believe we're in the finals?" Like before the match went, and I was like, "I think we belong in the finals, dude. That's where we belong." And who knows what Nick's version of that is, if he even remembers, you know. But I'd like to go back to see if that actually happened.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
That's a cool moment.
Oh, totally.
Did you, like, coming into that, did you almost surprise yourself by that reaction, saying we belong in the finals? Or
I don't
did
know
did you
where.
Kind of know?
I just felt it felt right. I guess. Like I felt like I don't think I ever was nervous. I was like I wanted to get out there.
Yeah.
And that back then, if you made the finals, they took you out on the Nissan
the
truck.
Yeah, I remember that when I was a kid.
I was always like, oh, then that ages me. That I remember that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to get on the truck.
That's awesome.
Right out on the back, and then I never got to do it. God damn it.
Yeah. I think Nissan, that was the last year Nissan.
I remember because
was a
you guys
sponsor.
came to Hawaii and did that.
Oh, yeah.
And the Hawaii guys, we were all stoked on, like Sean Scott and Lambo
Yeah.
riding
I
out on
think
the back of the truck.
Todd and Sean won that tournament, I think. Because they won the
Yeah,
last three
I think
tournaments
so.
of the year.
That was a
And
KOB.
That was 04.
Hawaii, right?
That was 04.
Oh, that was 04. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Got you.
Yeah. 05 was just like the top, I think, 8 teams. Top 8
Okay,
teams.
got you.
Yeah.
I remember because we were the kids that my buddy got selected to go out on the sand and do the in-between game where he got to like crawl around and try to find an Xbox.
Oh, really?
And
He got the Xbox?
Yeah, because we're like screaming at him, go left, go right. Like, he got the Xbox, and then we never had video games, so like we had the Xbox from then on. It was like a really big moment in our lives.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was all because the AVP.
Yeah. I wrote a letter to the Xbox because then I was like big time gamer.
Yeah.
Like they probably laughed at this stupid letter. Like,
Dear Xbox.
yeah, exactly.
I love you.
I'm a whatever. I won. I don't remember how many tournaments we won that year in 06. And I'm a big gamer, and
Yeah.
I think I would be a perfect athlete for you guys to sponsor something.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Because they were
terrible.
sponsoring the tour, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a
surprised
no-brainer.
they didn't.
Yeah, but they
That's
probably
funny.
laughed at my stupid letter.
Didn't you and Nick, like the last few years, have something like that? Like some tie-in with a video game company
but it
or
was through Donald's dad's company,
Oh,
Kingston?
Kingston.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a whole like their own video gaming gear, like headphones.
Oh,
and,
right.
Like
Probably the
gaming
chairs.
mount.
Aren't there gaming chairs now?
Oh yeah,
With like vibration.
We didn't
and,
get
like-
those. No.
Did you ever get that?
We just got the headsets.
Did you ever get that at home? Would
No,
Jen
I
allow it?
wasn't that. Like
I have a buddy
when
that
they
has
pulled
that.
those, when they came out with those, I wasn't. That was post kids, and that's when
Oh, right.
gaming
Goes out
kinda-
the window.
Yeah, you're happy to get one night a week,
Right.
You know.
What's the game of choice right now?
My gaming days are over.
Over?
Really? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm mature now.
And what age did this start?
I don't know, probably like 5 years ago or so. We were playing when Fortnite first came out. We were playing a lot on the road,
Okay.
yeah.
and then kind of just died off. A little
What
bit.
about the what's that game we were all playing? I got let into the group for a little while, and then I got booted.
Not so.
Royal? No.
Clash Royale.
Clash Royale.
Yeah, we
Clash
had
of Clans first, right?
Yes, and then Clash Royale. Yeah,
I was in.
You got the boot?
I was in the group, and then I think Nick booted me probably or something.
yeah,
He's pretty strict about it.
He was security.
I think I wasn't
clan.
I wasn't growing fast enough. I'm not I never been a gamer my whole life. My parents were just like, didn't like it. Go play outside kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I needed my friends to have video games. And so, yeah, I just couldn't hang with these guys on the Clash of Clans. I got booted. And then Nick, of course, was really apologetic about it.
Yeah.
He's just, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad, but like, you're out.
That's what he always says.
Yeah. The most apologetic
Right.
person on earth.
Yeah.
But he'll also light you up.
Yeah, he'll hit a volleyball at a ref at
Yeah.
on the stand.
Yeah.
Did you never heard that?
No.
Oh.
This is the first.
Yeah, he.
I heard that.
I wasn't there, but I know he got.
I'm like picturing this, but I don't know. Or did I just hear about it? When was it?
It was a tournament in California, so I don't know.
When
But
I was around, or no? Pre.
Probably, maybe, yeah. Like 13, 14, maybe.
I'm like
maybe a
picturing
little-
it, but I'm thinking maybe it's that memory thing where I'm just making it up in my head.
He
He got a
obviously
set. He got a set. The next set, and he just turned to the ref and swung at the ref instead. But you can't like card him, really, because he didn't throw it at the ref or anything.
I don't think he hit the ref.
No, he missed. But
yeah, but yeah, he got in disagreement with the ref, of course, and next ball he just tried to hit him.
which is kind of genius if you think about it. You're like, it was a miss hit. What? Like, you can't card me. I just
to
hit the
turn
ball
lines.
miss. I tried to chizzy the block. I thought he was up above me.
Yeah, I mean, and he did something in Florida. I thought it was so funny. This year, he got a yellow card, and he reached up and grabbed the ref's red card and gave the ref a red card. I was like, that's so good. Yeah, that's so good. Who would think of that?
Only Nick.
Yeah. And the ref just like laughed about it, you know?
Yeah. I think I've seen him like ask for the yellow cards too, like on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Like
When
he
we had-
just goes up and he just tells him, get
When
the
we had
card.
J-Rod on the podcast, J-Rod was telling us that.
Yeah, right.
That Nick came up to him and he's like, John, I'm going to freak out on you. And I'm going to need you to give me a yellow. John's like, what? And then Nick starts losing his mind. He's like, give me the card. And he gives him the card and he loses it even more. He's like, I needed that. He got fired up.
Just needed to blow off a little steam.
Yeah.
So good.
Zahn had one of my favorites on the New Zealand tour. The ref gave him a card because Zahn kept getting called for lifts because he had the slowest hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just kept getting
And
called.
that crazy, weird pokey lift thing.
And so Zahn just took the guy's cards and threw them
Really?
down the beach and said, "You can't card me now." That's one of A-Rod's favorite stories. Of course, A-Rod the storyteller. I mean, he can tell it like nobody else can.
Yeah. He likes to exaggerate a little bit.
That's why we had to bring. That's pretty much the reason why you're on the podcast now, because you were correcting us on some of our A-Rob stories.
Yeah, he told me he told you I made 20 free throws in a row. I've never made 20 free throws in a row.
This is that legend thing you were talking about earlier.
And
the thin beast could make 23 free throws in a row.
Yeah, like I don't know. We didn't even shoot free throw. I don't even remember. Like I think it's something.
The
I
Phil
think you said you guys
Dalhausser
used to
setting
do
while
like
we did like a little
a men's league type thing.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of fun.
how was your basketball game?
I hate physical contact. And you mentioned that so like I used to play. Actually, I played in like when I was like 20 or so. Like I grew up in Daytona, and I played in like a league there, and it was just like run and gun, and that was fun.
Yeah,
because no one was trying to body me up.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just like someone got the ball and just started running, and there was no defense. There was like alley oops, and you know that was fun. But then like in the league we played in Myrtle, we played like probably some guys that played in college, and like, oh my God, I could not get a rebound because they just were like, they bottomed me up at the at the free throw line, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, you're like, bro, I'm not trying to rub up on you, bro.
Yeah, and that league wasn't that fun.
Yeah.
Because it was like real basketball.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you go to the Myrtle Open this year?
I didn't.
No.
No, it's just like it's not very fun for me. First of all, like volleyball is like kind of a job for me now.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't want to sound like an asshole or anything, but like, I can't walk from point A to point B without like getting stopped 5 or 6 different times,
Right.
whatever, you know.
Totally.
Like, so
There goes the socializing part too, or like, you know, the purpose of going to Myrtle is to like kind of party and have fun with your friends.
A partier, and like,
Right.
I mean, back then, like when we lived in Myrtle, like you kind of had to,
Right.
you know. And I had a great. Don't get me wrong, that was like the funnest 2 years of my life.
Yeah.
2003, 2004.
Yeah.
But I quickly realized that the longer I stay here, the worse my game's gonna get because you just get sucked into the scene there.
Right.
And yeah.
Some good stories
Yeah, we
that
should.
we can't tell.
Yeah,
At least
I mean,
the ones that Matt Heath told me.
Matt's funny.
He's classic.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. But we always said we should write a book about the stories. But now, like,
He's
we're
the
like
guy to
almost
talk to.
Yeah.
20 years out.
Yeah.
You know, but it's similar to you, to Kings of Summer.
Yeah.
Where like you got everyone's perception.
Yeah.
Right, like different side of the story, which I thought it was cool, by the way. But yeah, we could probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved leaving all the different sides in there.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what Cart said. This is what Randy said. This is
That was
St.
really
This is
smart,
Ken.
especially with those old guys, those old legends. Like,
Right.
You hear some crazy stories. You're like,
Right.
did that happen, Randy?
Yeah.
Sure about that?
Yeah.
And it was so funny because when we went back to corroborate all the different stories, it was like, if Randy said this happened, he's like, he's a fucking liar.
Right, of course.
Like, Randy, this is what Hoff said. And like the old rivalries, they die
Right.
hard, man. They're still there.
So
and they're
good.
so funny.
That was a
I
good-
loved talking to those guys.
That was a good approach by you.
Yeah, because Kent was like,
You
well,
want-
what do we do?
Please, yeah.
And I was like, at this point, I think we just have to leave it because I don't know what happened, and no one knows. There's no way of verifying what
Right.
happened, and
There's
so I
no
don't.
social media.
That's just how Hoff wants it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It blew me away. I didn't know. I knew they made good money back then, but I did not know how much money they were making.
Yeah.
And
That's-
then throw inflation in there?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like whatever. Like Hav and Dodd were making money in Italy.
Yeah.
And then coming over and making a ton of money in the summer.
right. And I mean, I always just think about like, wait, you made, let's say, what, 500 grand in a year back then? You could buy a strand house for like 500 grand back
Yeah.
then.
Well, what
Yeah.
Hop did was he bought a bunch of real estate, right?
Bob's a genius, man. Yeah, I went. I got lunch with him at his office in El Segundo. He's like, "Yeah, I own that apartment complex right there. It's like maybe a 32 unit."
Yeah.
And
He's a genius.
nowadays,
Yeah,
oh my god.
yeah. And Hop's like, he's like the happiest dude. I mean, he just loves life.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Love
yeah, I mean,
talking.
he hasn't been. I mean, what do you mean? He's just been living off his
Yeah.
rental income. For,
Yeah.
He's got no
And biking
no
the strand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
For what?
Talk a little
50
shit
years?
to every player that he sees.
The way he remembers everything is just, he dominated. Everyone sucks today.
Yeah.
It's just great. He's living it up.
he is.
I had the pleasure of being coached by Mike Dodd for 2 years when I played with Rosie, about 2.5 years, and so asking him, getting stories from
Yeah.
him was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dodd's great.
Yeah.
He's classic.
Yeah. He would always, sorry, Mike. He would always stay in our room, right? We'd always get like a third bed for a room. And man, the second that light went out to go to bed, it was a race to beat Mike to sleep. Because once Mike got to sleep, no one was sleeping. He snored so loud, like incredible, dude. Like, the first time that happened, I was like, dude, you can't be serious. Like, it was.
He's gotta be
insane.
pranking us right now.
Yeah, it was. I was shocked, but it was real.
Just shaking the walls.
And Rosie, I think, warned me about it because him,
Yeah.
Mike
Was with
coached
Jake and
him,
Rosie.
Yeah.
And boy, he was not kidding. He was not kidding.
Have you ever thought about doing any kind of speaking thing?
like I'm already getting nervous. Like like in front of like
Public
like
speaking?
a company or like corporate speaking
Oh,
or something.
right.
I did it once this year, and it was kind of like a question and answer.
Yeah.
Which was fine.
Yeah.
But like me being up there with a piece of paper for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking about, I mean, all the experiences and successes and stories and just like things that you've had to overcome, just random travel things, and Mike Dodd snoring, and then you won a gold medal. Like, you're one of the greatest to ever play the game. Like, I don't know, I feel like you have this like perfect formula. Like, and you could even team up like Casey Patterson. You can be your Tony Robbins. He's clapping it up for you.
He'd be good.
Yeah. I think he does some of that stuff.
I've been working with April these last couple of weeks with our little camp we got going on, and turns out we work pretty well together. So I think like us two with a moderator,
Right,
would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, me and Trout were talking about how cool it is that you and April are working together, because we were thinking how many people who are the greatest in their respective sports are like cool enough to run it like a clinic and work that well together. And you guys, and Delaney had the best time working with you guys. Like, she came home every day and she was like, I'm having the greatest time getting to know Phil. He's like the coolest dude. Oh. Delaney loves you.
Oh, nice.
She's loved being out there with
She's
you guys.
great out there too. Yeah. Like the way I like to run it is like, rather than just be like, this is the way to do it, this is correct technique. I'd rather have like a conversation with the coaches, because everyone has their own perception and their own way of explaining things, right? Or like sometimes someone would be like, one of the players would be like, well, I heard you should do it like this.
right.
And then we'll like have a conversation about it.
Right.
And I think you learn better that way anyway. Like, all right, we talk about it and then go out and do it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how I don't know. I haven't really read a book on coaching other than John Mayer and Billy Allen's.
I was about to say that's a very John Mayer-esque coaching philosophy, because he just kind of lets you figure it out.
Right.
And he goes, through a bunch of different phases, and he's like, just hit 10 balls, see what works for you, and keep doing that.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to do it.
Because we're all different. We all have different body types, right?
Yeah.
And like, what's going to work for me probably won't work for Tri.
Right.
And totally, we have way different blocking techniques.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and then we had Sarah Sponsor out today, and when she kind of comes in at an angle on the right, I'm like, man, I wonder why she does that. And she explained why. She's a little outside shoulder. She likes outside shoulder, so she feels like she could still hit the line if she comes at an angle, rather than like the normal flat right side approach, right? I was like, oh, well, there's my answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people who signed up for this clinic, is it kids, adults?
It's mostly adults.
Okay.
There's every once in a while a kid will show up.
Okay.
There was a girl today that was pretty darn good. I think she was going to play at Utah. Okay. And all ranges, like skill level. Yeah. So we kind of try to put all the. That's the tricky part, is putting the same skill levels in the same court, and then that's the hardest part about it. Yeah. But the guys people who signed up, they're getting get April, Sponsel. Yep. Delaney was out there. I saw Therese Cannon, was she out there? She's coming on Sunday. We had Kyle Friend out there a couple times. Eric, I always have problems with that. Baranek. I don't know. Baranek. How do you say?
No, if you ask Jose. Baranecky. That's what he said. Baranecky.
When I was playing with Rosie, we would train against Nick and Theo a lot, who was coached by Jose. And he would say Theo, but it sounded like Phil. And Phil sounded like Theo. And we would talk, how is that possible? That was completely different. He would say something, and we both turned our heads. Whenever I would train with them,
Trevor was Trevor, and I was Trevor's. I was plural Trevors. Yeah. It was really funny.
It was really funny how Kent was talking about Jose on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Just get bored.
You get bored. Let him bounce one, and then he's like back.
It was actually really
So
funny
classic.
because shortly after that, I trained with Troy against Trying Trevor. And I was like, Troy's just like a young Jose.
Oh, yeah.
Where when he was swinging deep six against you guys, I was like, Troy, you could do that 1,000 times.
Right.
And you would side out 1,000 times. But every now and then you get like a pretty juicy set. And you just try to bury that on the 2-foot line. And then that's the one you
Good
clamp.
stuff.
And I was like, I wonder if Troy gets bored. And he's just like, but I want to try this.
He's there's a couple players, and usually they tend to be like amazing athletes that are crowd pleasers,
Right.
right? That type of athlete,
Yeah.
like a Troy, Stafford Slick,
Yeah.
Alex Rangeri, who
Yes.
man, if they played it smart, would be like really good.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately,
Yes.
they like
right.
to, do like a windmill,
Yeah.
whatever, behind the head hit, or whatever you want to call it. And all that is he's in too early, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
Yeah, right.
I'm in early.
You're in a
well,
bad
I might
situation.
as well,
yeah.
I might as well do this, and hit it out. And there was a little bit of that in Rosie too.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah.
Did that
Especially when the Raiders were around.
Rosie had so much success? Do you think that it did hurt Rosie though at times, or did he pick and choose it really well? Because he had ridiculous success.
Yeah, I mean, man, he could have won so many more tournaments. But like Rosie never really worked out. Like I would have conversations with him, like, hey man, like I think you could be probably like, I don't know, realistically 5-10% better if you lifted,
Right.
and stretched out and rolled and like
Yeah.
what every other beach volleyball player does in the world, And I'd be like, out of the world tour, who is not working out? Who is not stretching?
Right.
Just me, probably. Yeah, exactly. Like, man, if you just get you just have to get in the habit of going, and then you don't even question it. You just do it. You just go, and then then you could do your thing, whatever Rosie does.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't get it. It's unfortunate because, man, like, I would say he's probably the most talented beach volleyball player. Maybe like now Anders probably
Yeah.
higher than Rosie. So like second, I mean that guy.
Pretty good company.
Dude, his quads were like 2 of mine.
Yeah.
And he didn't work out. Like could you imagine if he worked out? Yeah.
I talked to him more recently, and he was talking about coming up to Mikkel, like trying to get Mikkel to bring him back. And I was like, dude, you just if you want to get in the car with me, it's an hour drive. But he's like, yeah, no, I'm not trying to drive up there. I was like, all right. There's my answer.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the cool thing about Rosie is that he does own it. I remember when Delaney was training with Tracy, and I was practicing with Rosie, and they were training next to us, and he was like, man, if I worked as hard as Tracy, I would have won so many more tournaments.
Yeah.
He's like, that's really hard to do,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's also like, he's like a child of the South Bay, right?
Yeah.
Like the lifestyle, the people,
Right.
like this is his home. His home's not like in his house. His home's the South Bay.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm good either way. Like, I'm going to live my South Bay life with my people and whatever that is, and just, I'm good,
Yeah. When you look back on your career, like, do you have any regrets about anything, or are you like?
Yeah, I do. I now that I'm older, whatever,
Yeah.
more mature, I realized that I wasn't a very good teammate. Like part of being a good beach volleyball player is being a good teammate, and like I was very in the camp of the Todd Rogers camp. I'll do my work, you do your work. We come on the court, we do our thing, and then That's it.
Yeah.
Rather than like, all right, like if I was struggling, Todd would be, he wouldn't be like, you know,
Yeah.
he wasn't
Hey, what can I do for you here?
Yeah, exactly. He would bury me. And I bet you he would say the same thing.
You could tell, I mean, everyone saw it once the winning, or, I mean, you guys were winning the whole time, but once it kind of went on the downslope a little, you could see the, and we started calling Todd Poopy Pants.
Well, he was
You
poopy
saw-
pants
you-
when we were, but
Yeah,
it
that's
definitely rubbed off on me.
Uh-huh.
For sure. And, you know, like a good teammate, like I played with Rosie right after Todd, a good teammate would have been like, Rosie, I'm going to the gym, you're coming with me. But I was in the mindset, I'm going to do my work, get it done. You should be doing your work, right? This is our profession.
Right. Yeah.
And, yeah, that, you know, obviously that didn't work.
I mean, it might not work. Might not have worked anyway, right?
I think if I would have been like, you know, whatever Torrance is 15 minutes down the street, like that made him,
right? Maybe.
Just to get him in there and getting him in the habit. But yeah, for whatever reason, I wasn't. And like with Nick, I was just sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes I was just annoyed. Like, oh, please, just shut up. God, dog, like, please, just let me be, like, oh, you know, give me 3 points just to, like, be quiet, you know. But instead, like, I could have been, like, giving it back to him. Like, that's what he's looking for, I think, you know, like getting his face and, like, you know. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20, right?
Yeah. From my perspective, I felt like Nick was really good energy for you, just because he brought some, like, you're a lower energy guy, and like he brought that fire, and like I don't know what it actually like made you feel like, but
Annoyed.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Because
from my perspective, I like being like, I like my partner waking me up like, oh, okay, like I can't be sleeping right now.
It wasn't. A lot of times, it wasn't positive energy, right? It was negative energy.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
Right. So it's a little different.
Right.
But there's a really good book. I'm sure you've read it. Chop Wood, Carry Water.
It's great.
Yeah, and in it he talks about like how pumped up you should be, like on a scale from 1 to 10. And he says like 10 is too much.
Right.
Right.
For sure.
And 1 is obviously too low. And he said, I think around 6 or 7 would be kind of and I was probably like closer to a 2 or 3, probably closer to 2, maybe even like a little something days like under 2, you know. And Nick was the exact
9, 10.
opposite.
Yeah, right.
Right. Sometimes he'd be like low, and those were the days he kind of like struggled, you know. So like, man, if I could have just boosted my energy up. Like we played, me and Todd, it reminded me of when I read that book, when we played Ricardo Manuel, Todd and I battled against them a lot. And whenever they were kind of like low energy or whatever, they would just look for something to fire him, a bad call.
Yeah.
They'd be like, no fair. Right. You know, they'd be yelling at, okay. And something to get them going, you know, and or like if, you know, God forbid if you like yelled through the net at Ricardo.
Right. Yeah.
If you're that, you know, ballsy. Actually, once we were playing Ricardo Manuel, I think in 2007 Paris to get to the semis, and it was like a tight third set. It must have been like whatever, say we'll call it like 10-10, something like that. And Todd dug a ball on the left, and Ricardo stuffed him and yelled through the net at Todd. And Todd, like for those that don't know, like no, he doesn't care how big you are. He went on the net. He's like, "You motherfucker!" And Ricardo's like I guess Ricardo's like a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something like that.
Yeah.
And Ricardo's like, you know, going like, yeah, exactly. And I was like, so this is no thanks.
Don't like contact, guys.
It was kind of like you see that video that everyone made with, or someone made with Hayden and Taylor,
Oh, yeah.
and where Logan was just like, that was me.
That cracked me up. Them going at it, and Logan, when I was talking to him, he's like, "I didn't even know what happened." He was like, "I didn't even see anything," because by the time all the ruckus was over,
Right.
Logan was just just getting back up.
And Logan was dying that match too. Wasn't that the match where at
They
the end
really
of one
should.
rally he
dead.
couldn't jump. Like Hayden shoveled another one, like the sixth ball on 2 in the same rally. He just couldn't jump. He just paintbrushed it over.
First time I'd ever seen Logan tired in my entire life. I mean,
He must have just been
triple
like,
days.
It was.
he plays so
it was
many
hot.
tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Fort Lauderdale was hot.
It was hot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I mean,
so
I guess
good.
but he was living in St. Pete for a while. Think he'd be fine
For a little.
Yeah.
Not for too long. I don't think not long enough to get adjusted.
Right.
Yeah. What was your season like? I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you got the clinic and Tress trying to barbecue and everything, but
It's a quickie.
this is a weird, different season for you. You played with Casey, you played with Andy,
Yeah.
played with Sud. You had a wide variety going on.
I'm like a free agent, keeps it interesting because I've been doing the same thing, left side blocker, boring, I had a lot of fun with Andy.
It looked like it, man.
yeah.
Jordan Chang loved working with you guys.
Yeah. And going into it, I saw that it was going to be hot in Austin. And I was like, oh, sweet. That's an advantage for us.
Yeah.
Because we're two big guys that we're used to going up the block. Now
Right.
we're sitting back and, shaking and baking back there. We're not having to deal with. So I was like, all right, already advantage. And we're going to be hitting jump serves. And that's going to be cause high spinny passes. And they're going to have to work hard to, teams will have to work hard to get it up to the net. And so I was like, I think we're going to be all right. As long as we could side out a half-decent clip, I think we'll be all right. I didn't think we were going to win. But I was like, we could compete. And we just kind of got rolling. Once we beat the Taylors, a tight third, then we kind of found our rhythm a little bit. And we beat Theo and Kane pretty good. And then we had a tight one with you guys. Yeah. And then the finals, really, speaking of Troy, he
was feeling it against us. I'd never seen him play so good, but it was,
he was playing great against,
giggling, laughing, and doing his crazy stuff, and it was all working, and high-fiving fans.
That's kind of how the first set went with us too, and we were down I think 18-17 or something. They were siding out. I can't remember. Yeah, something around there. And same thing. He was just going high off the top, you know. And he decided to shoot a cut shot. Maybe it was we must have been tied.
I thought it was 1917. You guys set it out for 18, and then Troy had cut shot, you swat.
Yes.
And then cut shot out of bounds.
And while Andy was on that, and while he was chasing it down, running after it, he was like, oh my God, he couldn't believe that he had a cut shot. And so they took a timeout 2019, and I was like, I know exactly what this fool is going to do. He's just going to swing high hands.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go up. And sure enough, he hit it right into my hand and blocked. And then, it deflated his bubble, whatever.
Right,
and then, second set was we cruised.
Yeah, he was hitting over us most of that match before that. We couldn't deflate his bubble.
Yeah.
I feel like if he had a good coach, really kind of
it's kind of a raw game and
show him the way.
Yeah,
kind of that he could. He's got all the tools,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah. And he's good. And I loved playing with him. It was really fun being on the court with him too. He's light, he's happy, he's I don't know, it was a good energy. I think good. There's just not a lot of coaches.
Good vibes, yeah.
Good vibes. Yeah, because they were trying to find a coach the whole year and they just couldn't, because Mike Campbell is who Chase loves working with, but he's at Long Beach.
Right.
And so they just kind of found whoever they could find. That's the tough part about.
Yeah.
and
It's more of a travel companion.
No, that's the problem. Like now that it's great that beach volleyball is in college, but the problem is all the good coaches are taking something, where they can make a salary.
I was down there
and get
today.
some benefits.
Yeah.
You know?
I was down at the pier today, and I was looking at all the coaches. I was like, this is like insane how many good coaches. Stein Metzger was against Danny Alvarez, against Todd Rogers was down there, Mayer's down there, and I was like, literally, all the best coaches.
I mean, think of like the top
here.
programs.
Yeah.
Dane
was there.
Stein,
Yep.
Brooke and Nick, and Florida State.
Yeah.
Really the only school that competes that doesn't have a big time like beach player is LSU, right?
Yeah.
Who, what's his name?
Brock.
Yeah, he was a good indoor player.
Yeah. And then Drew Hamilton left just to coach Kristen and Taryn exclusively because he was their assistant. And then he just kind of went with them full time, which is the only coach to go from college to pro. Usually coaches go from pro to college.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think they should move out to LA. Those two girls.
Kristen and Taryn.
Yeah, because I watch Taryn and God, man, like you got Kristen like doing laps around her.
Yeah.
And Taryn is like, it's just she doesn't like put herself in a good position to give her a good, she just sits at the net and turns around.
Yeah.
I'm like, get up! What are you doing? Get off the
takes
net!
space. Yeah.
Like open up so she can set you on too. But I don't think she just. She hasn't been coached like by a block or someone that kind of knows the game.
Yeah, you really gotta. It's like habit to.
Yeah, it's like something you just got.
Footwork. It's footwork.
Right.
When I watched her, I was like, the feet are moving very slow,
Right.
but they're doing well. So I can't judge it. But like, I think definitely if she had done a lot of the practice, the footwork, and do it in the gym, that's where I feel like a lot of it translates from the gym.
Yeah, and just a lot of times she's in a bad spot.
But they're doing pretty well considering.
Yeah,
a lot of potential there.
They could be better.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty open too.
There's like a handful of female players that I liked watching over the years, like Larissa, Misty, Laura Ludwig.
Yeah.
It's like awesome.
Yeah.
And I gotta put Kristen on there now.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone cover so much ground and dig so many damn balls. And then like pop up and be ready to jump. I'd be like after two, I'd be like, oh man,
I know
they're gonna have this. If they shoot it, it's good. It's down. You know? But man, she just pops up and like ready to. It's pretty crazy.
She's very good.
Yeah, and then the vision, and then like the touch.
Yeah.
Jumbo cut, slap down the line. Like she's got everything.
You'd think she'd be screwed when she gets a set like 5 feet off the net.
Yeah,
but she's got like the drop shots where those are like timing, right? Drop shots where like if you let it drop too far, it's going to take too long to get to the sand. And her timing on it's just perfect. Like getting the defender on the wrong step kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like attacking the peeling blocker.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
Have you thought about, I mean, obviously you're coaching at the academy and you and April are coaching.
The answer is no.
Got it. No one can hire Phil.
College coach.
Hey,
he's got a price. I'm sure he's got a price.
No, just like pro, like if a team, like if
pro's even less chance probably.
Yeah.
You want to get on the world tour?
If they want to come out to Orlando, and I could work with a team, but I'm not traveling.
Yeah, but you'd run like a training camp.
Oh,
before.
for sure. Yeah. I'm actually the company that owns the courts that I have my little club on. They like are into. They run like sporting events. They do like a big golf tournament every year in Orlando, and I put them in contact with King of the Court.
Oh, with Wilco?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
And he's actually been in Orlando, and LA is so expensive. Mm-hmm. So, but if you want to be a professional beach volleyball player and like really do it, you got to come to LA.
Right.
But one of my goals is to turn Orlando, like the Orlando St. Pete, kind of be like an LA Huntington.
East Coast hub.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right. And the way I envisioned this is have Wilco come in like March or maybe a little earlier, and all the Euros would come and 2 weeks before, train, everything. Beautiful big gym right there, hotel right there, restaurants. Like, it's really perfect.
This is at your courts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then at the end of those 2 weeks, run the King of the Court, and then go to Mexico. It makes a lot of sense.
That'd be sick.
And then that would draw so like some players would come maybe to train against the Euros.
Yeah,
those
for sure.
2 weeks or whatever, and maybe they end up staying there because I could rent a place for $750.
Yeah.
Totally.
And potentially I could have a job for them, coaching. So that's kind of like big picture kind of thing. But
It's a great idea.
yeah, it makes sense.
Especially world champs coming to Mexico soon.
Yeah.
What about before the Florida event at the end of this year? I was thinking, because I'm going to be, I don't know who I'm playing with yet, but I'm going to be on the East Coast. Yeah, Travis. I'm trying to figure out my knee first, but I'm going to be on the East Coast, and then I'm like, shit, I might as well just stay on the East Coast, because for Thanksgiving I'm going to be up in Rhode Island.
Oh,
nice.
Like,
well, that's far.
Come down to train with, but there's no point in going to LA. I might as well just go straight to Florida or Hayden's courts or something like that.
It'd be too cold there.
Is it cold?
Tennessee gets cold, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah. I mean, Orlando.
My geography over there is like, it's all kind of the same, right?
Orlando at that time will be nice.
Yes.
I can make an
probably not
argument
going to
that
Hayden's.
The weather in Florida during the winter is better than the weather here in winter.
Oh, yeah. Winter in California is not.
Yeah, because it
can get
doesn't really rain that much in Florida during the winter. Our wet season is during the summer.
Yeah, right.
And it's like not that humid. It's like
How cold does it get?
I mean, there'll be nights where it will like rarely it'll freeze, but it'll get close.
That's pretty cold though.
But like, but then and during the day it's like 60 degrees.
Right.
Warms up.
That's actually colder than I thought.
Yeah,
So it's not like Hawaii. Like southern Florida's
Miami. Well, yeah,
closer.
when it gets cold in Miami, like all the iguanas drop out of the palm trees and stuff. They freeze.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Which actually they're not indigenous. They're
Right,
actually
right.
like a huge nuisance.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think you could just go up to iguana and kill it. Like,
No,
I think they say go do
Please,
it. Yeah, because they've kind of taken over.
Dude, those things are gnarly.
It's like the axis
straight
deer on Maui.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and the
Exactly.
same also two things actually. Some idiot let their anaconda or python or whatever out in the Everglades, and now they've become a huge because they have no natural predator.
Right.
And then same with the reefs there, lionfish.
I've heard about the lionfish.
Yeah.
But they do huge lionfish events. It's like a big fishing tournament.
Yeah, well, they want to get them off the reefs because I think they eat the coral or something.
Everything, yeah.
Oh, really?
They're like
Aren't
insatiable.
they like poisonous to humans too or something? Can't they mess a
Well,
human
like
up?
like
Alive.
if you get pricked by the
Yeah,
they
they get
have
like
the
barbed, but
barbs?
Yeah, but you can
I don't think we
cook them
have.
and it'd be all right. But,
all right.
But yeah,
I don't think we have those in Hawaii. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I know that in Florida it's huge because when I lived in Florida, I covered a fishing tournament in Pensacola that was just a lionfish thing, and they got thousands of these things. They're like, we didn't even put a dent into that.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what they did in Hawaii back in the day. They had rats, and they brought in mongoose. And the mongoose come out in the day, and the rats are nocturnal or whatever. so now we just have mongoose problems.
They didn't think that one through.
No, didn't think that one through at all.
and they brought what tree did they bring to Kauai to stop the flooding? It's like this tree from Africa.
I don't know.
And it grows crazy fast, but they did it to stop the flooding, but the trees go up so fast, and then they end up falling over anyway. And so then these trees are just out of control in Kauai.
And like kill off other trees.
Yeah.
There's like vines that cover those big trees, and they actually block the shade for all the other ones down below. Yeah, Hawaii is very strict about all that stuff, trying not to let.
Yeah, right.
Like you can't.
You
bring
got to write like you got to fill out a whole.
The agriculture
thing.
forms. Yeah, you can't bring like an apple.
Yeah.
In your backpack back there, but it doesn't work. Every other plant is not originally from there. It's just how the world works.
Yeah.
Right.
Like there could be a seed on my shoulder, that because I walked by a plant or something, and it just happened to go.
Right, like you bring an apple or pear or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you toss it in trash, and then like
Gets
it could
composted.
grow. It could grow in the dump.
Right.
And then it
the
takes off
seeds, the birds come and
then,
eat the fruit or whatever and poop the seeds somewhere else. That's how it goes. Can't really control it. I love how where the train of thought goes. Sometimes
like so random.
I was trying to figure out how we got here. Iguanas. You got iguanas.
Yeah.
The Florida Training Center to the iguana.
I kind of like that sometimes, I get a little sick of volleyball. We don't all need volleyball all the time.
Yeah. We did talk a lot about volleyball.
Yeah, we did. We checked that box.
Well, Phil, is there anything else you want to mention while we have you?
I think we covered it all.
We covered it all?
Like,
I know it's probably too late it is too late for your clinic this year, but are you and April going to keep doing this clinic next year?
Yeah, so we're not sure. Like, we want to.
Yeah.
Like, we might team up with the AVP and then kind of have like, because with Bally's they have like, they have properties all around North America,
right?
And like do it at their properties, like Vegas, or they have one in the Bahamas, which would be sweet.
Nice.
So that might happen, or like at events, tournaments, like a day before type of thing,
right?
Or we might just do our own thing. It's been pretty successful. But we got a lot of help from the AVP. Like, we got, nets and lines and balls.
Promotion
and promotion that helped. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to work with the AVP.
Just look out for it for fans next year.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys will.
We do have one.
Posting about it.
It's class you can sign up for. But that's on Sunday, so I don't imagine that
this is
not going to air.
It won't be this Sunday, guys. Don't sign up.
There's actually one last Sunday if you want to not sign up for it.
The 23rd, October 23rd.
Don't go to Santa Monica. Phil's in Florida.
Yeah.
And then is there any plans for you? Are you playing Florida? Do you know? You don't know if you're playing Orlando yet?
I'm going to play with Sutton, but I don't know if we could get it in.
So if not, then you're back to free agent.
Yeah.
Or just not playing.
I mean, if it's in my backyard, I
kind of got to play.
And you won the last time you were there.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was kind of like a King of the Beach type style, which is kind of fun.
You have plans for next year specifically?
I'm down to play. Like if someone hits me up and I'm like, oh, that'd be fun.
Strictly AVP. How much would someone have to pay you to go back on the world tour? What's the number?
I would say you have to come. You have to be really good, and someone that I feel I could, because all right, I could hit around once a week, and like I have a gym in my garage, so I just lift this is what I know. I just lift whatever
whenever you need to.
45 minutes a day. I just get out there and break a sweat. But I could do that for the AVP, but FIVB is a whole nother animal, right?
Yeah.
Like then I have to
That's why I'm wondering what this number is.
Yeah, it just went up. Thinking about everything I'd have to do,
and then the travel.
Should I put this house on the market now?
I would say you have to come with at least $1 million sponsor. Actually, inflation's so high, I'm gonna say 1.5 million.
Wow, that's higher than I thought. Yeah. I was thinking like 400, 500.
It's gotta be worth it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So there's the number.
So if
people.
you check all those boxes,
if you have $500,000 or $1.5 million laying around,
which
and
probably,
you're a world-class volleyball player,
Yeah.
which doesn't exist, except for back in the 90s, maybe.
I mean, we had plenty of guys that could play on the world tour. Just, I think, like we play AVP, and now the world tour, like the money is better on the AVP.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
why?
No,
like,
totally. And that's what sponsors want.
Yeah.
They want more exposure domestically.
Yeah, like so you're basically now you're playing the FIVB for the Olympics, and that's it.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
I know I hate that, but
Yeah.
I talk about it enough. I rant about that enough on the podcast. Our listeners know. I don't want to play for points anymore.
Yeah.
These imaginary points are pissing me off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's too bad because I don't know. I feel like they just overcomplicated things. Like back when I started on the world tour, we had there was two categories of tournaments: Grand Slam and Open.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Slam tournaments were 43,500 for first. Opens were 30,000 for first. So like you could play an Open like in October, and all the top teams probably weren't there, and you could go home with split 30G.
Yeah.
Nice. But now you play. I forgot the name.
Grand Slam's got even bigger because when towards the end it was like 57.
So 2014 they ran I think 3 tournaments.
Oh, the $1 million.
They ran 3
purses.
tournaments and was 73 for first, I think, and 50 something for second.
Man.
And Rosie and I caught fire.
Yep.
The perfect time.
Yeah, you did.
We won.
Right when you partnered up too, right?
Yeah, that was 2014. We partnered up in 2013, and I played the right side on 2013, and then we switched in 2014, back to the left side. But we won 2 and got second in the other one.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So it was like the nice.
I was
pretty
stoked
good
too because
stretch.
I was young, and I took like a 5th and maybe 2 9ths.
Yeah,
But
you
like
probably got a
for
decent
9th, I
amount,
got
yeah.
like $8,500 for a 9th. I was just like, oh, this is amazing.
But I guess it's probably not sustainable. Like
Apparently it wasn't. But man, I was spoiled when I first came on tour. Because my first year too is when me and Hyde won that one event.
Berlin,
and then it was Milwaukee right after that.
Yeah, you guys beat us in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, man, this is like going to be great. And it's never been as good since then. I've never won a big one, and the prize money went way down. We always joke that, like, well, first of all, you timed it very well, your career, versus Anders and Christian.
Yeah.
They could easily double their prize money if they had just played a decade earlier.
Yeah.
I always say, like, all right, there's nothing. I hope we get to 90s levels at some point.
Right.
Fingers crossed. But the second best was like 2000s, early 2000 teens or whatever.
Yeah.
Because, man, we would have like, I don't know, 8 or 9 Grand Slams, a summer.
Yep.
And that was back when we had to play AVPs. So we would go, we'd play like 15 AVPs, and then we'd play like 6 or 7 FIVBs. And we didn't, back then you had to play 8 FIVBs to get your bonus pool.
Oh, yeah.
So you only got half of your prize money until you hit bonus pool,
Right.
which is a little bit of a stinger. But we had the luxury of playing 15 AVPs. And back then it was like still the same, 20,000 for first.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right.
There,
Yeah.
And then Manhattan, a few years where it was 100 for first.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Is it true that you guys split
Yeah.
pre-match? Was that just because he's your friend, or
We did a solid
Yeah.
for
Okay.
Nick and Sean. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was like, like we split it 4 ways, right? And it ended up being like 44,000 each, which was like, I'm
Like,
fine
that's
with
still
that.
pretty
Let's just
good.
play for the plaque.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of motivation, but Yeah, I've always wanted to hear that from you. Because I've heard it from like Sean and them. They're like, what? Okay, shit, you're down.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did
I was like, there's no way they were
I don't know.
oblivious to like the fact that they were gonna win. Or
We hadn't lost to Nick and Sean.
Exactly.
I mean, at that time, we weren't losing much on the AVP. Like
Well,
you, like Jake
they're
and
both
Rosie
your
would get us.
ex-partners, right?
Yeah, Jake and Rosie would get us
Right. Yeah.
here and there, and then. But like,
What about Hayden and Sean? Towards the end, they started getting.
They had a
little bit.
really good
Little
game
run.
plan against Todd. They matched up really well against Todd, and they actually they did a lot of like.
Sean was a
would line
crazy
up,
blocker.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah,
I love Sean's block.
Like you guys have similar styles.
He's my favorite blocker
Yeah.
for sure.
Sean would line up really early in the angle, and Hayden would line up on the line. They were like one of the first.
It's crazy how that messes with you so much as a
Yeah,
hitter.
and Todd didn't have that much heat down the line, and Sean was really good at reading.
Yeah.
And so if Todd like tried to chip it over Sean would just wait and just
delay.
top,
swap.
or they go late switch. So Hayden would sometimes pick up the cut, and it gave Todd fits. And then they both sided out great. So like if I wasn't scoring points, then they would beat us. They beat us more in the finals in 2009 than we beat them, I think.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
That was like a statement for their careers, like because nobody was doing that to you guys.
No.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Rosie and
we won.
Jake were.
Yeah, they beat us. Yeah, they beat us. Todd didn't like it. Ooh, he would get so mad. Angry Todd. But that year we won. We only played 5 FIVBs, and I think we won 2 of them. So like the year before, we won 4 out of 7. So like we weren't like. We kind of had a little bit of a lull year after 2008 Olympics.
Yeah.
But then we came out in 2009, like, we didn't lose a match on the AVP. We played like 6 tournaments, and then it went bankrupt.
You didn't lose a match, and then it went bankrupt?
Yeah.
Holy.
And then in 2010, like I said, we're just on fire on the FIVB.
Yeah.
And we actually had, I think it still stands today, end of 2010 into 2011, we won 40 straight matches on the World Tour.
Oh my gosh.
Which I don't think...
Dude, I remember you or someone telling me that when I was on the world tour. When I first came out, I was just like, "What?"
Yeah,
like
we
if
had
I
to
won
go-
like
we had
5,
to-
6 in a row, which like we had to do to win Berlin, I guess it was like crazy. It was like 40. What was it? 40.
40 matches, yeah.
40
At the time,
matches.
the record was held by Jonas Reckerman and Julius Brink. 2009, they went on a run. I think they did 26 in a row. And before that, I think it was Emmanuel and Jose.
Oh, right,
And they were like 24, 25.
They have, I thought Jose said he has the most tournaments in a row. I don't know. I don't know if that would work. I think he said like 8 or something.
Oh, wow. I don't know.
I don't know what I don't know. Travis.
We'll have to
you're gonna
fact check
look
that
up.
one.
We'll
I
have to
mean,
fact
just
check.
the math doesn't add up.
Yeah, the math doesn't add up.
If Jose's record was in the 20s matches, he couldn't have won 8 straight tournaments.
Well,
Yeah.
you can lose a match and win the tournaments, right?
Right, but that would, well, yeah, guess so.
Come out of losers.
Yeah,
Or losing pool play or something.
yeah,
Back then it was double M. Maybe,
was it
I
double
don't
M?
know.
yeah. Well, I'll have to check. It'd be fun to go back through.
I remember 'cause
BBB?
when he
Yeah.
told me that, I was like, I remember Phil and Todd had the record for most matches in a row. So you have and he's like, I have the tournaments in a row.
Him and Emmanuel.
Him and Manuel. I don't know.
I mean, I don't
they
doubt
were
it.
fact checker.
dominating for a while,
Yeah.
like late 90s, right?
Right.
Yeah,
They were like by far the best team in the world going into 2000.
yeah. And they had a weird, kind of unlucky Olympics.
Yeah.
They got upset. There was a weird
Oh,
Olympic format.
He does not like talking about that.
No, like maybe lost to Spain or something.
No, they lost to Portugal.
Portugal?
Fenoy won.
Brendan Maya.
Then
There's
because they just kind of got hot and just won that one
Yeah.
tournament.
there.
And Loyola was
They're-
supposed to win it.
I don't know if this is true or not, but there's I guess you could call it conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
So for Dane and Fenoy to get into the Olympics, final tournament of the year, they had to get a semifinal finish. And to get to the semifinals, they played Emmanuel and Jose, and I was actually curious. I should have asked this Jose a long time ago. Dane and Fenoy hadn't even touched a semifinal at that point.
No.
Came close, right?
Yeah.
And they beat him. And so the conspiracies theory is they gave him a couple bucks. But
Or do you think it would be that Jose and Emmanuel would rather have them in than Karch and Adam Johnson?
yeah,
Because that was the other team. That's who they knocked out to get in.
yeah.
Just either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
Maybe you don't need a couple bucks.
Right.
You'd rather have these two young guys that haven't really done much. On,
Yeah.
It was
on the
like
World Tour.
when I was in the...
And then oops.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the problem. When in college, we were... my senior year, the best team at SC. We were kind of just dominating everyone. Get to the MPSF tourney, and we played Santa Barbara in the final. We knew we had the large bid to the Final Four, but if we lost to Santa Barbara, they would win the MPSF championship, and they'd be the other Final Four team rather than Stanford, who was all our buddies who had won the national championship the year before. So it was in our heads to that we'd rather have Santa Barbara in.
Right.
And then we ended up losing, and we're all like, whatever. We didn't say it or try to lose, but they beat us. Then we draw them in the Final Four and lose to them again.
Oh, no.
No way.
And they were probably 8th in the conference.
Was that
all
when
season.
Evan Paddock was on the team?
No, it was Menzel.
Oh, Menzel.
Jeff Menzel.
Kind of same type of player, really, right?
Yeah, Menzel's more of just freak jumper, and Paddock was freak heavy
Arm
hitter. Yeah.
Kind of like a
He hit
Clay
the
Stanley
crap out of the
type.
ball. Yeah. Like a more compact
He would
Clay
come.
Stanley.
Oh, that makes sense because he was there at UCSB when Todd and I were training.
Right, yeah.
And he'd come out on the beach, and I was like, "This guy's good at indoor." He was not.
I could see his
beach game.
I could see his beach game being tragic. I played with him on Pan American Games team, and he was very just one dimensional. This guy just crushes the ball. He's it's clobbering time.
Speaking of a gaucho, Theo was there too.
I played him for a year.
Yeah.
I crossed over for a year. He was really good.
And every once in a while he'd come because Todd and I never really had anyone to train against.
Right.
So we grabbed Theo and Aaron Mansfield.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And Theo would stuff me. I'm like, who is this guy? He's a blocker.
Yeah. You're the one who gave him the confidence, probably.
He would get me. And I was just kind of unassuming, you
Right.
know, this is just in team we could kind of spar with or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he stuffed me. And I'm like, what? I was not expecting that.
He was a good blocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very good blocker.
Yeah. No, but he's kind of coming into his own.
He's definitely not one of those guys that needs to bounce one every once in a while. I remember talking to him years ago. He's like, I'm very okay just hitting it high and not bringing it down to anyone. I was like, damn it. That's the one thing that helps me to get people is when they're not smart enough.
Yeah.
The tall guys bring it down to me yes, thank God.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He had a good year.
He did have a good year. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Should we go eat?
Phil, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know how long that was, but
That was great.
Yeah.
We could go all day if we had eaten.
We could talk about iguanas and whatever forever.
Yeah.
Anacondas or boa constrictors or whatever.
Yeah.
Throw in some volley, we got it all.
Perfect.
Sweet. Thanks for having me on.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
on.
It was fun.
Enjoy the last final days of
Two
your
more.
clinic.
Yeah. It's
2 days.
A little bit of a grind.
Almost done.
Yep.
Or you could be on the world tour.
1.5.
1.5 is the number.
Is it 1.5 is, not so much.
I bet if
When,
$1 million was thrown out there, Jen would make you take it.
She's really over me gone.
She's over it.
I said yes to this 2 weeks camp, whatever. Thinking, it'll be all right. And then
You're getting the FaceTime calls.
yeah, she was like, "Cool." Of course, I ran by her, but now we kind of both regret it a little bit. But like, I think it was worth it. Like, you know, we might team up with AVP and
Yeah.
and obviously we made a little bit of money and
Or bring the family next time.
yeah, and like come to find out that April and I work pretty well together.
Yeah.
So like that could kind of turn into something. So
Bring the family out.
Yeah.
You could stay in the studio here, you know.
yeah.
There's a pull-out couch.
Yeah, last time we were talking earlier. Last time I was on the podcast, we were huddled over a table.
Yeah, see.
Right.
So next time you
now
come, you're
you're
gonna be
like-
expecting.
Look at this. You even got like a street sign.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
the Andy McGuire sign. We got the surfboard.
Maybe we'll get a real street sign one day, and
Yeah.
it must be the SANDCAST Ave.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be sweet.
Nice.
All right, let's go eat.
All right.
Shoots.
Shoots.